Welcome to the show. I am your host, Bryan Lee Whatley. Our story begins tonight with our very special guest, actress and top model, Christy Bella Joyner, as part one of a two-part series discussing her life work, including cancer awareness. With the support of her parents, Christy started out as a pianist at the tender age of 5 years old, where she played classical piano that progressed into playing with the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra Concerto Group Charities in high school. And as a graduate of Henderson High School in Atlanta, Christy attended several universities in Georgia, including Valdosta State University and one of my favorites in Alabama, the University of Alabama. Roll Tide. Now, after college, she signed with elite and clique modeling agencies, gracing magazines such as Playboy, Maximum, Stuff, Hawaiian Tropic, and numerous advertisements, billboards, and in commercials as the International Budweiser Girl, and modeling in campaigns for Louis Vuitton, Fendi, Chanel, and Neiman Marcus. The All-American Beauty received national attention for being named the 2008 International Spokesmodel for Navici Cosmetics by CEO and founder Charles Navici. And she was named top model and supermodel by several high fashion designers. Yet, she wanted more, and she turned to her best friend, her dad, for guidance. Her dad immediately saw a talent in acting, and he encouraged her to follow her heart. Well, Christy Bella played in the television series The Tudors, and has been in Entourage on HBO and various movies such as 8mm 2 and Underestimating Jake. And in 2010, Christy teamed up with Super Bowl champion Charles Grant and helped making the world a better place by getting involved in Cancer Society, the American Cancer Society, and many other charities. And she focused and dedicated on the world to renowned Stand Up to Cancer, aka SU2C. And Christy Bella is making people aware of the life-altering diseases which she tells in her public service announcements, and that 1 out of every 2 men and 1 out of every 3 women will be affected. And she actively has a Stand Up to Cancer team that is making a difference with cancer charities, and I'm proud to be a member of her team. It's truly an honor to find people who are just as beautiful on the inside as they are on the outside. And that's the southern beauty of Christy Bella Joyner. Our musical guest tonight is Hilayna Starr with her brand new song, I Am His Digital Machine. So please sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Welcome, Christy. How are you doing today?
Hello, I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing super awesome. I'm really, really excited to talk to you. My face is grinning ear to ear, so I'm just honored to have you on the show.
Well, I'm honored.
Now,
how an honor for me.
Oh, thank you. So, how has your day been so far?
It's been wonderful. Thank you so much.
I woke up this morning and I just knew this interview was going on today, and I could barely sleep last night because I was looking up so many things about you. There's so many awesome stuff that you've done throughout your career and things that are going on. But for those who don't know much about you, which I think it would probably be 1 or 2 people who actually live in the Himalayan mountains that don't know about you, could you explain just a little bit about yourself to our listeners?
Yes, I'm a model. I have modeled my entire life, practically. I've been a pianist. I did some acting, and right now I'm focused on my charity work. I am a huge advocate for Stand Up to Cancer and Make-A-Wish Foundation, and that's about it.
Well, you're very humble when it comes to things like that.
I guess. I try to be.
You're like, that's about it.
I try to be humble, yes. I was raised to be.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your life beginning since you were a little girl. A lot of people don't realize not only are you exceptionally beautiful and talented as an actress and as a model, which is, or a lot of people think it's not hard work, but it's incredibly difficult to do this type of work that you do. But you're also a classically trained pianist, and you've been doing this since you were around the age of 7, correct?
Yes, I did. Actually, my parents had a piano for show, and it was a showcase thing, and when they would have bank parties or dinner parties or whatever, I guess I was supposed to be playing with my nanny, and I would somehow get away from her and go crawl on the piano, and I would play, and my passion was playing the piano, and my mom if anybody was questioned, would say, "Oh, that's Christy just banging on the piano. It's no big deal." And a music professor from the University of Georgia was at one of the parties, and she said, "No, she's not banging. She's playing chords." And they took me to a professor at a college nearby, and they wanted to find out if I really did have any music talent, and they found out that I did, so they immediately enlisted me in that.
Well, I think I said 7 years, but I think you actually started at 5. And so
I was like 5, yeah. I was going to say, I think it was like 5, and it's so strange because my parents didn't play. I didn't have any musicians in my family. It was just a God-given talent. That's the only way I can explain it, is God gave me this talent. And I was literally playing chords at such a young age, and then I remember my first recital piece was Burley's by, everybody knows Burley, so. And I played that at like 7 or 8, and then I played Chopin at 9, 10, I just was so devoted and military style oriented with the piano. It was my passion, it was my love, it was my first love. And it will always be my love.
That's
piano.
Awesome. That's my favorite instrument as well. I have a piano here in my house. And I've tried teaching myself growing up. I'm not classically trained or any type of training, nor do I have the gifts that you have. But I love just getting down there and just hitting some chords or just kind of messing around with it. But whenever I'm like stressed for the day and I just need to just kind of break away and free my mind and experience some love and light, I will play like Chopin, like you were talking about, or I'll play some Beethoven or something like that, and just kind of relaxes me and just makes me just, kind of become one with myself again. And it's so relaxing. It is so relaxing.
It is. It's so relaxing. It's so peaceful. It is, it's such a miracle that Beethoven almost went deaf completely and wrote these symphonies, and I totally feel at one with myself when I'm playing or listening to classical. I was classically trained, and I totally love it. It's my biggest passion. I used to spend hours and hours practicing for competitions, and I was really, like I said, military style with the piano.
Nice.
I wish I could have been that way with every part of my life, but only the piano was I like that, because I had such a deep love affair with it, and it was really, I fell in love with the piano first and foremost.
I also respect the fact that you like the whole military style of it as well, so that's a good, I was saying military
well, my father had served in the Air Force, so I think it was kind of military style in our home. And I just use that term a lot because my dad would do things military style, so I say that a lot.
That's cool. Well, I was in the military for about 14 years, and I got out when I got back from Iraq, and my father, he's passed away now, but he was also in the Merchant Marines and stuff like that, so I completely understand the whole military background situation in the household. So every now and then Sergeant Whatley will come out, and I'll say something. We need to get something together. We need to do it now. We need to move fast. And it goes crazy. And they're like, Bryan?
Yes, absolutely.
Well, your work with playing the piano and stuff like that from the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra Concerto Group with charities and things like that. You also attended different universities around the South, including like the University of Georgia, Valdosta State, and you actually went to one of my favorite universities, which is the University of Alabama. Correct? Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Got the Roll Tide.
Yes, I did. I guess I just loved college so much that I wanted to take a tour of all the southern colleges. I don't know why I did that. I couldn't make up my mind or something. But I did love University of Alabama. It was a beautiful campus.
Well, if you're going to pick a university tour to do, the southern campuses around the southeastern parts are just absolutely phenomenal. The trees, the hot weather and everything else, as you know, from being from Georgia, and I broadcast out of Mobile, Alabama, the southern heat and the sultry summer nights are something to, experience, but, sometimes it takes a little bit of getting used to. So I'm glad that you went to all these universities.
Thank you. I'm glad I did too.
Now, you studied broadcast journalism, right? That's what you degreed in?
Actually, no, I really didn't. I didn't have a major.
Oh, okay.
I was just playing around, really. I really wanted to do music, And I had been accepted into Juilliard, and I really wanted to do the whole Juilliard experience. So I was really just playing around. And I think I wrote that down, even at the guidance, whatever, office, and I was like, okay, I'll just write this down because I don't know what major I am, because I really wanted to study music. That's really what I wanted to do, study the art. But you have to take all those core classes. I remember taking all those core classes. I remember I failed, like, algebra, like, 3 times. I was like, I can't add and subtract. And all these X's and Y's are so confusing. You know? And, like, my dad was a banker, so it was really embarrassing. My dad's, like, senior vice president of Bank of America, and here I am, like, I have no idea what an algebra equation is.
Well,
so that's why I had a hard time.
I'm completely on the opposite side. I love math and science, and so my degree's my degree's in engineering, and so but I always said if I was going to, math starts getting difficult when you misspell it wrong. And with all the X's and Y's and A, B, and C's and things like that, I was like, my teacher come back, she said, you misspelled this equation. I was like, how do you misspell a math equation? I just...
I know.
Oh, my goodness. So from there, you started going on into, I think this is where, from your university work, your father and your parents started seeing, the side of you that comes out as far as the acting, the showbiz type of work. Obviously about like I said, you're a very beautiful person, and so you've done a lot of modeling. Can we talk a little bit about some of the modeling careers you've had?
Yes, of course.
All right, so I've got you with, you were with Elite Modeling Agency and Click Modeling Agency. You've done work in terms of like Playboy, you've done Maximum stuff, Hawaiian Tropic, you've been the international Budweiser girl, you've been on so many numerous advertisements, billboards, and commercials all around the world. Let's talk about some of those if you don't mind. Which one was one of your favorites?
Wow, that's a loaded question. Okay.
Okay.
I love modeling. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed every single one of them. It's hard to pick out just one and say this one was my favorite campaign. When I was in college, I first did Playboy. It was an open audition in Atlanta, Georgia. And I think about 3,000 girls were there when I was there. And I was looking around at all these gorgeous ladies, and I'm like, there's no way they're going to pick me. I mean, they're only picking one for college girls. So I really just was, taking a risk and doing it behind my parents' back and kind of being a little bit rebellious at the time. And I went to the audition, and I got the call back. And when I got the call back, I was so surprised. And then they just used me in my pictures, and they own the rights to the pictures, which surprises me a lot because they'll reuse them a lot. But it's an honor because, Cindy Crawford and Elle McPherson and so many people have done Playboy, and Kim Basinger from Georgia, of course, did it.
Yep.
And a lot of people had started their careers with Playboy, so I felt honored. And it was like artwork to me. It was not like anything gross or whatever. It was just like artwork. Like I studied Michelangelo, and Michelangelo had done, sculptures of boys and stuff. And so to me, it was art. I know a lot of people don't do it that way. However, that's how I saw it. That was my perception.
Well, I'm going to be honest.
And they were beautiful pictures.
I'm going to be honest with you. The ones in, I think it was like the Southern College Girls or the Southeast or something like that you did.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
One of the things I love about, I know this is going to sound like every typical guy, the articles or whatever else.
I'm used to it.
But the one thing I love about Playboy is it is a very, very classy magazine. And
it is. And Hef is so professional. He's nothing at all like people portray him to be. He's not like that at all. He never tries to date his models or anything like that. It's all just, an illusion, basically. He's walking around in his little robe, and he's got his cigar, and he's got some beautiful blondes around him, and he just, he's an amazing person. I'd like to pick his brain, because it was so amazing to me that this guy had a dream, and he made it come true, and now it's an empire, and everybody's tried to copy it, but they can't. But, it was such a great experience for me. Nobody was unprofessional in any way. They were always very professional. It really jump-started my career. I got signed with elite models, and it was an amazing experience.
Yeah, his photographers, a lot of people don't realize, but his photographers are like master-level photographers. And so whenever
they are. Oh, my God. They are so amazing. They are perfectionists. Yes. I remember getting up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, and we did hair and makeup and things like that. And, you know, and in Chicago, it's a windy city, and it's like they are really good at what they do. I mean, they have the eye.
Yeah.
Do this stuff.
They're not the kind of people, they just run out to Best Buy and they buy a digital SLR and they decide, okay, I'm going to be a photographer today. No, these people live, eat, and breathe. And like you talked about perfectionists, I mean, the lenses that they carry and the type of colors and the backdrops and everything else.
Oh, my God, yes.
It's amazing.
It is so amazing. And then they love to work with the lighting, like, early in the morning. And then sometimes we would shoot, like, 14 hours or something. I would be so exhausted by the end of the shoot, working with Playboy all day long. And then by the end of the shoot, you would get the best pictures because by that time you were so tired. Yeah. The look in your eye was almost like you're just like about to go to sleep. And that was what was so beautiful to me in the pictures, is because when I look back at them, of course, I'm critical of my own pictures, but I look back at the artwork of them and how they made it look like a big, huge, set, and it just looks so pretty the way it's laid out. Like, to me, it looks like art. Right. It looks like a picture of art, like you would see in a museum or something.
Exactly.
To me, it does. I know everybody doesn't have that view, and I'm not judgmental of other people, but I know people probably judge me because I did Playboy, so it's a, catch. What is that term?
Catch-22?
Catch-50, whatever that is.
Yeah, catch-22.
Catch-22, that's it.
Yeah.
I'm a blonde, so you have to bear with me.
Hey, I'm a blonde with blue eyes. I'm right there with you.
Yeah. I love blondes, too, because, Jenny McCarthy and Pamela Anderson, he's had so many blondes in the magazine, so that was also an honor that he would pick me from the South. I was like, wow.
Well, if also another thing that they don't realize about Playboy is if you notice the women who are in Playboy, yourself included, they're very powerful, strong women. You mentioned Jenny McCarthy. She's exceptionally powerful. You mentioned Pamela Anderson. She's the same way. Your IQ, what a lot of people don't realize, and I won't throw out the numbers or anything like that, but I know your IQ ranks right up there with some of the highest genius level type of IQs. A lot of people don't realize that. But people who do Playboy and some of this other work, that's why I'm saying acting and modeling is not an easy job. It takes a very strong-willed, dedicated person to do this type of work. And so, it's absolutely amazing. So for the people who got their careers and started stuff like that. So, I mean, I'm just really saying it's great work, and you've done a lot with it, and I'm just really glad.
Thank you. It was such an honor to do it. Like I said, meeting Kath and meeting Jenny McCarthy and all these people, I was like, wow. I never thought in a million years that I would get to that stage, and such an early age of my life. I was thinking I was like 17 or 18 years old.
Right.
It was like amazing. I was like, wow.
Now you've also done.
I always looked up to those girls.
Were you you're a Playmate of the Month, right?
I'm not really sure. I'd have to go back and I know that sounds so bad. I just learned the internet, believe it or not, a year ago, and I'm still learning. My niece, who's like 10, knows more about it than I do. My sister's daughter, and she's always teaching me things, and I'm just now learning how to work my iPod. I didn't grow up with technology, and my dad calls the TV an idiot box growing up. So we weren't allowed to really watch the idiot box or have much technology around in our household. And like I said, it was kind of military style. Right. I think that's why my sister left home at such a young age and got married and never came home. And I'm like, it was a very strict household. And I am so grateful that I had that growing up because they instilled so many values in me that I came back to. And that's who I am today. I came back to my roots. But you know, at the time you're kind of like rebellious and I want to try this and I want to try that. And you kind of have to lose yourself in order to find yourself, I think, in life.
Well, you also did other major modeling campaigns. So you did for Louis Vuitton, you did for Fendi, you did for Chanel and Neiman Marcus. Mentioning the International Budweiser Girl.
It's so amazing to me, and like, I can't even believe it when I see it, and I'm like so critical of my pictures. I don't see myself the way other people see me as beautiful. I think, why do people see me this way? I know
because
it sounds weird, but I just don't see myself that way. I have always been, and again, that goes back to how I was raised. I was always raised that beauty is only skin deep, you know, Mother Teresa type thing, and giving back to society. And one thing my dad taught me at an early age was you have to give back. To whom much is given, much is required. That's what he always said. To whom much is given, much is required. That meaning that I had to always give back and do things, you know, not necessarily that I wanted to do, but just things that would have a reward internally for myself. You know, going to soup kitchens, doing things on Christmas for the less fortunate. That's how I was raised, and going back to that, that's basically what I consider beautiful, not really the typical person on advertisement or in Playboy magazine or in Louis Vuitton ads. Now, I'm very honored, and of course I would be lying if I didn't say I don't want to do that still. I still love doing that. I love modeling. Now, I'm not good at memorizing lines, and that's why I wasn't very good at acting, but yeah, when I look back at those campaigns for Louis Vuitton or anything like that, I'm like, wow, I can't believe I did that. I still to this day am surprised. I'm so shocked and surprised in a good way, but also I think I need to get back to society. I need to get back. So that's kind of how my mind works.
That is beautiful. I love that.
Oh, thank you.
Paying attention to what your parents teach you at such a young age, developing those core values and that honor system within your own self and within your, what I like to say, if you're true to your heart and soul, then the passion for whatever it is will be the same, and it will always be high and strong. And you understanding core values like that, a lot of people don't realize on how fundamental those fundamentals are for the rest of your life. You're living and breathing and needing that. And I think that's very, very beautiful. So,
thank you.
I think that was really great from your father. So a lot of people miss that growing up.
I'm not morally bankrupt.
Morally bankrupt. Love that.
I'm not morally bankrupt. Yeah, I'll put at the end of that.
Yeah. And you know something, to be honest with you, from listening to you just now, you never will be. You will never be morally bankrupt. It's not in your heart and soul. Yeah, it's not in your heart and soul to be morally bankrupt.
I try so hard to get back and to help people, and that's really my mission in life, is to help people. I mean, if I can save one life, then my life is worth living, you know. So.
Oh, you're going to make me cry in a minute. I wear my heart on my sleeve. Don't make me cry.
Oh no, you're going to make me cry. You know, it's better to cry, but oh well.
You mentioned earlier about your acting career. You said you're not good at memorizing lines, but yet you've been in a ton of different roles, and your filmography. If people want to go and check it out if they don't know already, like I said, on IMDb, yeah. Me and those are the letters, I don't know. Is huge. And so, but you started seeing this, and I think your dad, going back to your dad as well, saw this as a very young age with you, that you have this amazing acting talent. Because even, like, I think your first role as Queen Anne Boleyn in a theater production, at the Reformation and Catholic Church Center, or it was about the Reformation Catholic Church in England. I think that was probably one.
It was a theater production,
yeah.
And it was, yes, and my dad encouraged it, because every time we were doing like business trips or something with my dad was a big wig with Bank of America. He was over the vault and over the Southeast. He was senior vice president, so we would travel a lot with him and stuff. And at a young age, my dad noticed how easily I adapted to environments. And he would say that every place we went, to San Francisco or whatever, and he noticed how I would adapt to environments very easily and very naturally. And he said, you make a great actress. And I was like, no. And he said, yeah. So anyway, I did the theater production, and I was so nervous. Let me tell you something. I was so nervous on stage that I remember trembling. Pardon?
I said I love doing theater. I love theater.
Oh, it was scary.
I know.
It was so scary.
Right before the curtain goes up and the lights come on, oh, my heart's beating as a million to nothing. And
mine too. I was so nervous. I don't even know if I could look at the actor in the eyes. I was like looking down at my feet, trying to remember my lines. Like, so that's what I mean by it's hard to do this stuff. It really is when, they say action, or when the curtain goes up, you're like, and you freeze. It's like, oh my God, I'm scared. What am I supposed to say again? And then, I look down at my feet, I'm nervous, or I look at my nails, and trying to remember, and I don't want to look like a idiot, but like writing down my lines on my hands like Sarah Palin or something. But, but if that works for her, then good.
Well, some of the work that you've done might have actually been from your role as Queen Anne Boleyn, because you did The Tudors from 2007 all the way through 2009 with the series there, and I think that was a series on Showtime. And if nobody's ever saw The Tudors, then they're also under a rock, because that's one of the most dramatic, most intense, well-played series that's ever been out. And there's such a huge, huge following for it. It's an amazing, amazing show. Can we talk a little bit about your work with The Tudors and Jonathan Rhys Meyers and things like that?
Jonathan,
So you played a lady in waiting on
a
couple of these different episodes. Can you explain to a little bit about your role there and what exactly that means for a lady in waiting?
Basically, a lady in waiting is a servant for the, it's like having, if we go back down, like Georgia had slaves, basically. So it's a little bit more glorious than that. I mean, even the Queen of England today has ladies in waiting. It's a little bit more regal than a slave. But you basically are waiting on the Queen, and you're waiting on the King as well, because back then he had all the power. He was the King of England, so it was a very defining moment in history. He was the person that changed history forever, me being Catholic. And because I'm Catholic, this is very interesting to me that he changed the course of history forever, where he was going against the Catholic Church because he wanted to remarry. And basically, I don't know if it was his testosterone or whatever, or maybe a mid-age crisis, but for him to want to go through the Catholic Church and to make a church of his own, that's why we have Protestants today. So to me, it was very intriguing. It was very interesting. That part of history is so interesting to me because that's really why we broke away from the Catholic Church, and that's how Protestants began. And then he wanted to watch the executions of his wife, which to me sounds like a serial killer these days. That's so gross.
Yeah.
And the ladies in waiting were just basically, they would wait on the king and the queen.
Well, I got a chance to go to London for about a week, and I got to visit the castle to where all that took place, and like the beheading of the queen and stuff like that. And just seeing that, and from watching the show and everything else, it's just the history of how England was or is in terms of their governmental style.
Did you get to see the tower?
Yes, those are awesome.
Oh, it's beautiful. Yes, Ireland's beautiful too. So yeah, it was that was filmed there, and it's amazing.
How was it work?
It's very amazing.
How was it like working on the sets with everybody? Because, like I said, that's such
wonderful.
a powerful show.
He was so nice to me. He's such a nice guy. We've been, friends a long time, and he's just a really nice guy.
Yeah, his work as an actor is phenomenal. I mean, you completely buy into the whole piece of him being the king and just everything else. And there's a couple of times that I have to turn away from watching the show. I have to like pause it because I'm watching on Netflix and stuff, and so I have to actually pause it. And I'm like going, okay, wow, this is so intense, this is so dramatic. And then I'm like, okay, let me go listen to some Chopin or something else, and I'll free my mind, and I'll come back and watch it again. So I can just imagine just being on the show is just,
Well, there was like 12 wardrobe changes a day. 12.
12?
And 12 wardrobe changes, and you never know what they're going to cut or what they're not going to use on your reel or whatever. But he was, I've known him for a long time. He's a very brilliant actor. He is so brilliant, and he's phenomenal on screen. He is, I tell him this all the time, I'm like, you have an extraordinary talent. I'm so surprised you haven't won an Oscar by now. I mean, you're just amazing. You were born to be an actor. Some people just have that gift, like Morgan Freeman and Clint Eastwood. I mean, he has that gift, and I know he's gotten a bad stick in the press, but I don't believe everything that I read or whatever. And
it's the press. They come up with
he's a really, really nice gentleman. He really is a nice guy.
He really does seem that way. So you played the Lady in Waiting. Everybody can check out some of these series from the Tudors, and there were episodes from 2007 through 2009. Like I think it was like seasons 3 through 4, maybe 3 through 5 for your work on there. So if you haven't ever seen the Tudors, go check it out. She's absolutely amazing in it. Playing the Lady in Waiting parts. I always believe that there's no small roles. So everything is very, very important. And so the Lady in Waiting.
Well, I really wanted a lead in that because it was such, like I said, it was a part of history, and I had played the lead on stage, so I really wanted to be Queen Anne. But when I saw Natalie Dormer, she was so extraordinary too. I mean, I was like, there's no way I could compete with that. There's no way I could compete with her.
Of course
she was
you can.
amazing.
You actually, y'all two kind of look alike.
Pardon?
I said, I think y'all two kind of look alike.
Oh my goodness, I've never been told that. Wow, what a compliment. Thank you.
Yeah.
She's gorgeous.
Wow,
thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. I mean, you're gorgeous too, so I guess that's just two gorgeous women.
Thank you.
Also, with some of the major hit television series that you've played on for private cable networks is Entourage on the HBO.
Entourage, yes. Uh-huh.
Can we
that
talk?
was a lot of fun. That was so much fun. Now, that was filmed in L.A. I used to live in L.A., and that was just a lot of fun.
Now, what I like about Entourage is the fact that it's about this one actor guy, and he's got like and you kind of live this, if you don't mind me saying this, you kind of live this lifestyle as it is, because you have agents and you have these press people and everything who work with you, and then you're going around trying to get different roles and everything else, and then you have like the paparazzi following you around and everything else.
It's crazy. It's like a circus, and and when you get into it, you don't realize how much hard work is involved and how much this is a lot of competition. And like I always say when people ask me, why aren't you doing anything with modeling and acting right now? I'm like, I just turned 30, and that's over the hill. I mean,
no,
seriously,
it's not.
I can't look at these. It's over the hill. I just turned 30, and I'm like, I can't compete with these 12-year-old models that have no figure and that are walking the runway, and I just can't do it anymore. Maybe I don't have the passion for it like some people have. I know I don't have the gift. Because I've seen my own reels, and I didn't think that I was that convincing as anybody.
You are so sad.
So I really prefer modeling and piano and art compared to the acting, because you're right. You are absolutely right. It's like almost like a circus that goes around, and the Entourage is so close to life. What that guy had to go through on a day-to-day basis is basically reality. If you followed Entourage at all, you saw that he had to deal with nepotism in the business. Somebody knew somebody, or it was their aunt, or whatever. And you see that a lot in this industry. And it's not necessarily who's the best person for that part, but because it was somebody that was related to somebody or somebody that knew somebody, they get the part above him. And there's just a lot of comparisons that you can compare to reality. It's like, wow. You know, life isn't fair. And that's basically what that series is about. And he had to take an entourage with him everywhere he went because he wanted to feel protected.
Right. Now, you keep saying, well, you said you can't compete with some of these, 12-year-old stick models and stuff like that.
No, I can't.
You are so, if you don't mind me saying this, you are so curvilicious, it's unbelievable. I can't even think that you would even think that you can't compete like that. And 30 is not old. I'm just throwing that out there for everybody.
God, I feel so
you are beautiful
old.
at 30. You look great. You should not worry about it.
You.
I know you're your own worst critic, but I'm just saying. I
am.
So.
It's just when I see these girls and they're so young on the runway, and I see them in advertisements, I feel, in a way, I have compassion. Half of me feels compassion for them because I'm thinking, well, their parents must be, involved in this and pushing them at 12 years old. How can they make these decisions? And then the other side of the token is that I feel like, well, how can I compete with that, And just I would have to starve myself. And I remember going to something with a big, huge designer, which I will not name, and he asked me if I would consider going to a plastic surgeon to have my ribs taken out.
Oh my God, no.
To be thinner, and my hips, like to remake my body to where it would be more straight, not curved. So to me, that was a signal that I couldn't do a lot of high fashion at that moment because of that designer critiquing like that.
Yeah, let's not mention their name because I'd have to say something about it. But I will say this: I've heard of. I have heard of people doing that before. I cried that
day in front of him, so I'm sure he knows he hurt my feelings.
I do know of models who have done that and have had their ribs taken out, stuff like that. So that is
an
actual.
Oh my God!
That is an actual procedure that is done, just exactly for that reason. And I think that's such a shame because I love curves. I think it's, it's just a part of the hourglass shape, the whole, you've got a very Marilyn Monroe physique, you're in great shape. You're beautiful when it comes to your work and stuff like that. So don't change anything about you. If that's their thought.
Thank you. That's exactly what I said. I said, I just can't do that. And I was crying to him and I said, I just can't do that because I was raised differently and I just can't, God made me who I am, and I just can't go, recreate myself for you to make an advertisement. So there were a lot of things that kind of turned me off in the field like that, and I can't believe that some girls would actually, and you're telling me that some girls actually did that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I remember my dad saying to me when I was a little girl, well, if everybody else told you to jump off a cliff, would you? It's the same mentality. I mean, if somebody tells you to do something, are you just going to go do it because they said so? It doesn't make any sense. You have to have a sense of your own self and know who you are as a person, and that's basically where I am. I mean, I've always known who I am, and I'm not going to change who I am just to suit a designer or a producer or anything. So
Amen.
I have to stay true to myself.
Amen, sister. Amen. That's what I'm talking about. God gave you that body, your parents gave you that body, stick true to yourself, believe in those core values and everything else, and don't change who you are, and just be you. You be you. I think that, wow. Amen.
Thank you.
That's awesome. But I know that your history in modeling and everything has been there. And I will say this again, 30 is not old, so just get that out of your mind. You've got such a great career line ahead of you. And you said earlier you were a little bit out of the busy life for the moment, and you've been doing a couple of other things just more quietly now, enjoying a quiet life. I think you play golf, and you like horseback riding and stuff like that. Of course, your piano work, and you're focusing on some charity work that you're doing. And we're going to do a whole other series about some of the charity work and stuff that you're doing. But can we talk a little bit about it now? Just brief parts of it.
Yes.
Okay. So the PSAs and stuff that you've done, and this, I find this very, very near and dear to my heart. So if I get a little bit emotional because it's true to me as well, then please, everybody in Radio Land, please excuse me for getting emotional about it. But you support cancer societies and trying to end cancer, correct?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Well, if you had recommended going to my IMDb page, or, you know, if they follow me at Twitter, at Christy Bella or whatever, you'll notice on my IMDb page that I kind of dropped off the radar, fell off the map right after my dad died. And my dad died of prostate cancer. I was very, very close to my father. He was my best friend. He was my mentor. He was my hero. He was my everything. He was the best daddy that you could ever imagine, the best friend that you could ever imagine, and the best husband to my mother of 44 years that you could ever imagine. So my mom has never remarried and never dated ever since. He was a blessing and a miracle. He was a God-driven person who, of course, was a banker and entrepreneur and did so many things and in the business world. But at the end of the day, he was my daddy, and he was my best friend, and I could tell him anything. And I miss him so much. I mean, I dream about him all the time, and I miss him so much. I always think, what would my dad say? Jerry Cannon Joyner was the best man that I ever have met in my entire life, and it really saddens me. I don't want to cry, but it really saddens me that he had to go out the way he did. You know, they were a little bit older when they had me. My mom's going to turn 70 this year. So, of course, my biggest fear now is losing her. And she's my best friend now. She took the place of my father after my dad died.
Right.
And I moved back home when I found out my dad had prostate cancer, which that's why I am so devoted to this cause, because my dad would always complain about, and he ran 6 miles every morning.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, he'd get up at like 4 or 5 o'clock, and he started out his morning on his knees praying to the crucifix, reading the Bible, and then he would get up and run 6 miles. Even in Atlanta, he ran. But he always complained about this pain he had, and I think he thought it was a urinary tract infection or something, and he kept going to physicians and asking. And that's what is so painful about this, is that it's such an insidious disease. From what I've researched, it's such an insidious disease that even doctors don't know at the time. They treat what they hear, like the symptoms. It could be a urinary tract infection. It could be this. So they just give you medicine and want you to go along your way and pay your bill, of course, because I think doctors make plenty of money. But, you know, it's sad, because when my dad was requesting exams, prostate PSA exams, you know, I don't think that they were really persistent on doing it at the time. Now, when he was diagnosed, it was a little late, and my mom actually had to request a bone scan because they had to cut off his prostate at one point. It was really sad. And he even said to my mom, I understand if you don't want to stay with him. She's like, they would have to kill me to leave you, Jerry. That's what my mom said to my dad. It's such a love story, and it's so inspirational. I mean, she loves him so much, and so did my sister, and so did I. But anyway, we were at the hospital that day, and then they put him on the morphine, and we thought he was going to be cured. You know, we just did this exam, he's going to be fine, blah, blah, blah. We just did this operation, he's going to be fine now. That's what the doctors tell you. And you believe them because they're doctors. You know, I think doctors play God. And I think that they think that they know everything. And whether they do or they don't, maybe sometimes the best answer is just, I don't know.
Exactly.
And I wish so badly they had told us that instead of saying he's going to get better. You know, like I said, my parents were older when they had me, so
mine were
of course.
Too.
Pardon?
Mine were too. My mother was 40,
really?
and my father was like 54.
yeah, so it's hard because, like, you know, I'm watching my mom turn 70 this year, and I'm like, oh, God, I don't want to lose you, too, you know? But yeah, I mean, when you get older, you always have to request these things. I tell people all the time, please request these exams. Even early on, cancer is so insidious. It affects 1 in every 2 men, 1 in every 3 women. This is the worst deadly plague of our time. It really is. Larry David reached out to me about Stand Up to Cancer when he found out about my father, too. And that's how I got into Stand Up to Cancer. I built my own team, and I started raising money to help find a cure. My father, his final words were, there will be a cure for cancer, but it won't be in my lifetime. And I held his hand through his last chemo treatment, and he looked at me and he said, Christy, this chemo is going to kill me. And he was right. Chemo killed him within a few months.
I'm so sorry.
So it's very sad. It's one of the worst things I can. If I could take away anything in the world, it would be that. I don't want anybody to have to suffer the way that I've seen them suffer. And my dad wanted to die in dignity, and I don't think anybody should be robbed of that chance.
I agree.
You know, it's so sad to watch them with the chemo, their hair falling out, and then it's awful.
You and I have something in common. My father died when I was around 7, and he died of lung cancer. I think he may have had prostate as well, but at that time, in the early 70s, they didn't do as much work as, you know, once they found one symptom, they kind of went with that. And then my brother died right before I shipped off to Iraq, and then my mother died from cancer right when I got back from Iraq, and she had a double mastectomy. She died from breast cancer, and even through the mastectomy that she had, it remasticized. If I'm saying that correctly. And then it come back, but she couldn't undergo. She was so ill at the time, she couldn't undergo chemo treatment. And I begged her and pleaded with her, and I was like, please try to do something. But she said, no, if I do, then it won't be the same way as what you were describing with your father. And so, you know, she died in her bed in her home, and it was very, very, very touching to hear your story as well, because I believe that people really, you know, there's a lot of PSAs out there. There's a lot of people that say, you know, we need to stand up and fight cancer, but there's not too many people who do something about it. And I think it's super amazing that you're using you as a person to help with Stand Up to Cancer and putting something out there. And I believe you're doing your father so much great honor and justice. That it's just, I'm trying not to cry here, but
I know you're going to make me cry. I feel so bad for your loss, and I'm so sorry that you had to lose both of your parents to cancer. What a deadly disease this is, and it just makes me want to cry for you, because that's exactly what I'm talking about. It affects so many people. And I'm so sorry for your loss. And like you said, he died in his bed. My dad wanted to go out that way, too. I remember him saying, you know, and this is another reason why I request, I request for people to request from the doctors a bone scan. Had my dad gotten that earlier on, maybe he would still be here today.
Yeah.
Always request a bone scan from the doctors. They won't recommend it. You have to ask them. I watched Sarah's story about Sarah Fawcett.
Right.
It was so sad. I couldn't believe my dad was such a private person. I mean, he was so private that he didn't want any of this documented. But I couldn't believe Sarah had the strength and the courage to document that disease. If you ever want to know what cancer's like, look at Sarah's story. It really is sad about how she lost her hair and how you lose your dignity in all this and how you lose your pride. And you get false hope from each doctor you go to. You know, they send you to a specialist. You get another false hope. And that's really what they're selling is false hope. I feel like at times they're selling you, you know, the chemo may work or it may not work. Why don't they just say that?
Exactly.
And I'm sure there are some great doctors out there. It just is, in my father's experience, they were not that wonderful with us.
Well, I think you being a daddy's girl, and if you don't mind me saying that, I feel that you were so close to him because of what you mentioned, and I'm so proud of you for the work that you're doing to bring, more awareness to such a deadly plague, just like you said, of our time. And I know he's super, super proud of you. I'm super proud of you, and everybody that's listening is super proud of you. And if there's anything, and we're going to do a completely different section, another interview with you about this. But if there's any way that people can go and help with this, I think the website, if I'm not mistaken, is standup2cancer.org.
Right.
Okay.
I have a team Christy Bella. So, and you can even join my team and help me fight this plague. And we're just like Larry David, and all of us are hoping for a cure for cancer. I know it's a shot in the dark, but we are praying and hoping for something to happen because we've lost so many lives to cancer, and I'm so sorry for your loss. It's really a life-altering experience to lose a parent to cancer.
Yeah.
And unless you've walked in those shoes, you don't understand. You can't empathize unless you've had a family member or a loved one. It makes you reprioritize everything when you see somebody go through this horrific manner of dying.
Exactly.
It's almost like watching, Jesus carry the cross or something. It's watching torture, what cancer does to your body and what the chemo and everything is so sad. So that's why I really put all my energy into trying to fight this, and we do fundraisers and we do events from time to time. So come aboard and join my little team.
Nice. Team Christy Bella, standup2cancer.org.
Yes.
That's super awesome. Yay!
Thank you.
I want to be part of the team.
Yay.
I want to be part of the team.
Yeah, be a part. Come on.
Okay,
Everybody
cool.
should. Everybody should be a part.
I agree.
The more
Everybody
the merrier.
should. Yay!
Yay!
Okay.
Yay! I sound like a little girl when I do that. Right?
Well, I do too.
I don't care.
I don't care either.
It's fun to have some childish things.
I am such a kid at heart. It's unbelievable.
I am too! Oh my god, me too!
Okay, so how can people contact you? We mentioned Twitter at Christy Bella, so just go to @ChristyBella and you can catch her on Twitter.
At Christy Bella, CHRISTY, all one word, BELLA. So it's Christ with a Y, Bella.
Christ with a Y with Bella. So also they can find you on imdb.com. Just look up Christy Bella Joyner on IMDb and check out all her filmography and all the work that she's done there, so you can check her out there. And one thing that we like to do you have any final thoughts that you would like for everyone to know? It could be about anything, just off the top of your head. Something that you're just passionate about or not passionate about.
Be who you are and say what you feel, because those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. The
Okay.
Dr. Seuss quote, I know it's like stupid sounding, but I love Dr. Seuss.
So do I.
Don't know. Oh, you do?
I
Oh my
read Dr.
God.
Seuss all the time. Yes.
It's a kid at heart thing.
It is.
I know. No, but everybody's like, you're such a child at heart. Yes, I am. And you know why? Because children are innocent, and it says in the Bible you're supposed to be innocent before you come to God. So, I strive for that. I try to be, like a child before I come to God. I want to be like that.
Well, thank you so much. On behalf of everyone here at the show, I want to thank you, all the editors, all the producers, everybody who works on the show. Christy,
you.
it's just been such an honor, such an amazing time, and I cannot wait for part 2 of us to do the follow-up with us on having the PSA for Stand Up to Cancer. And everybody needs to go to standup2cancer.org and join Team Christy Bella and help out there. But I'm so excited for the next session. But thank you so much for talking with us tonight, and I wish you all the best until we get a chance to do it again. And I just hope you have a beautiful night and a beautiful week ahead.
You have one too. Thank you so much. It was an honor.
Thank you. You have a great night.
You too. Bye-bye.
Right, bye-bye.
Please welcome our amazing friend and musical guest, Hilayna Starr, with her just released song titled I Am His Digital Machine.
My battery is full, and there's no way I'm running out. Our last one months on end, as long as he just holds it down. He keeps me charged up for days. I'm losing my mind, I'm out of space. I'm fulfilled with ecstasy, cause I'm this digital machine, digital machine. I am this digital machine. He keeps turning me on. He winds me up and lets me go. I am programmed by his soul. With just one look in his eyes, feel my pulse start to rise. I am in this fantasy with him. I'm his digital machine. We share the same wavelength. Our frequencies are all in line. We're moving so in sync. Your taste is perfectly with mine. He keeps me charged up for days. I'm losing my mind, I'm out of space. I'm fulfilled with ecstasy, cause I'm this digital machine, digital machine. I am this digital machine. He keeps turning me on. He winds me up and lets me go. I am programmed by his soul. With just one look in his eyes, I feel my pulse start to rise. I am in this fantasy with him. I'm his digital machine, yeah. Digital machine. I'm his digital machine. I'm his digital machine. I'm his digital machine. I am his digital machine. He keeps turning me on. He winds me up and lets me go. I am programmed by his soul. With just one look in his eyes, feel my pulse start to rise. I am in this fantasy with him. I'm his digital machine, yeah.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
At Taylor Gifts, we do customized monogramming and embroidery. We can monogram anything from a simple one name on a bib for a baby to a customized logo on a company shirt. We can make gifts for your wedding entourage and gifts for your friends. Label your children's items for school and put names on jerseys for sports. If you have items of your own you want them monogrammed and embroidered, we can do that. Taylor Gifts are sewn with high-quality thread on a professional embroidery machine. So go to the website www.taylorgifts.net, call 251-391-4354, email sales@taylorgifts.net, visit us at ETSY, and Facebook us. We are ready for your orders.
Welcome to WROM, Realms of Music Radio and Social Network. We support independent artists and talk shows, hosting a large discussion forum and an artist gallery. We also have a large social network combining the best of Facebook and MySpace into one. So make sure you submit your music to us and create a profile to promote yourself today. That's realmsofmusic.com, the best of music radio.
The Ghost Tales Television Network, GTN. GTN is designed to give the paranormal TV and filmmaking community the opportunity to showcase their talents and creations. If you believe you have what it takes to create your very own TV show and or short film and you would like the opportunity to showcase your creations, you may contact us at ghosttalestv@gmail.com or call 901-377-7166 for more details. Make sure you visit ghosttalestv.com. GTN, America's Paranormal Superstation.
Jackalope 105 FM on jackaloperadio.com. Your alternative to the grind of internet and FM radio. When we say diversity in programming, we mean it. Lots of stations brag, throw out a hype, and pad their numbers. Well, we don't. Accept no limitations. When you truly want awesome 24-hour radio, tune in to Jackalope and rock your routine. Jackalope 105 FM on jackaloperadio.com.
Thank you for tuning in to the show. I am your host, Bryan Lee Whatley. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and I look forward to seeing you next time when another story begins. Until then, love and light.